Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to episode 46 of Cutscene Convos.
Yes.
This week we will be continuing our festive character profiles with Marvel's interpretation of Jesus. We've also gone back and rewatched an old Marvel TV show Christmas special.
Yeah.
We've got the Into the Spider-Verse trailer to talk about. We're going to be discussing which villains we think would take a break from their life of crime for Christmas, as well as a juicy Nerd News Network this week, which will discuss some Star Wars stuff and a whole lot of DC stuff before we wrap it all up with this week's Super Showdown, which is going to be Raven versus Booster Gold. But before all of that, Horizontal, how was your week?
My week's been alright. My week's been pretty good. Just been working. Just been getting on top of all these like smaller projects and stuff, trying to get ahead of things, ready for obviously Christmas and closing out the year. Pretty much all the big projects are done. It's just kind of lots of little small ones. So keeping busy with work, but not crazy busy. The KCP side it wasn't the best showing in Rotterdam, unfortunately, but the lads didn't. I don't know what went wrong there. Like
People have bad
confidence,
events.
yeah, it's just one of them. Just didn't come out looking our best, and obviously you can't do that in major because you get punished. So yeah, unfortunately a short event for them, but they have a little bit of a break now. I don't think the next split starts till like end of Jan, beginning of February.
So you got a bit of time to get back in the lab, work out what went wrong.
Yeah, exactly. So
I guess that's the good thing about Rocket League, isn't it? The meta doesn't really change every 3 weeks
no.
like other esports.
It's just kind of like learning how other teams play and other regions play in certain ways, which is same in every game. Every region has their like play style.
I think that's the biggest thing people who don't watch like a lot of esports don't realize. Regions have like play styles.
Yeah.
So just because your play style dominates your region, you might find that at a major international, your play style gets pounded. Because we've seen it before. I want to say it was CS:GO, where you had a team who was like the third best in their region, qualified for an international tournament, and then at the international tournament they did the best out of everyone from their region because their play style worked better against the other regions.
Yeah, no, that happens all the time. So yeah, hopefully they go back, figure out some stuff, improve, and then hopefully it'll look better for the what's technically the winter split, but it's done in February to like May, April, May. It's like the major ends up being in May, and you're like, I'm pretty sure this is spring now. But
I guess it starts in winter.
Yeah, it's
that's
just
about it though.
Because this one started in fall, as they call it, or autumn, as we say in the Queen's country.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's been my week. Pretty chill, just work. How's your week been? No cough.
No, my cough is gone now. For the most part, I've still got the occasional cough. It's really weird. I can talk now and I don't cough as much. But like
such a strange concept.
in the car when like trying to sing, there's like certain songs where I cough at the same bit every time. Just something about trying to sing that particular bit just makes my throat go no.
When you're trying to hit those really high notes, is it?
No, do you know what the crazy thing is? It's not even. It seems to be more down to the word than anything else, I guess, which is kind of weird. But anyway, no, I'm feeling a lot better. It's just you like I know you don't know because it works differently for what you do, but a lot of people who work like more traditional jobs, this time of year, it just gets to the point where it's a little bit. There's lots going on because you've got projects that you need to get done before the new year. But at the same time, anything that doesn't have to be done before the new year just gets fucking thrown into the new year. They're like, no, it's not being done now.
I know what you mean.
So it's just there's like a weird energy with there's lots going on, but it also feels
everyone's winding down already.
Yeah, I mean December is the Friday of the months.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it's been like. But there's still lots to do, still busy.
You got one more week?
Yes, I finish 5 o'clock next Thursday.
Oh.
And then I'm off until the new year. which is
Which,
very pog.
yeah, that is very pog.
Yeah, I'm very excited to just chill in. I'm going to play a god awful amount of video games. Um,
And drinking an awful amount of alcohol.
so much. But it'll be nice. Jenna's off for that week as well.
Oh, that'll be good.
So like I think most people are going to be about for that entire week, which means you know how sometimes when you have time off and there's no one else to do anything with,
Yeah, no, I get what you mean.
so you just kind of they're like, yes, I'm not doing work, but I'm not doing anything fun.
Yeah, I'm just
It's not going to be
vibing.
like that, thankfully.
No, Christmas is usually always packed with people.
It's gonna be busy, but
Mhm.
that's the way we like it. Right then, let's move on to our Lord and Savior. Um,
Kevin?
so last week we discussed Marvel's interpretation of Santa Claus.
Yes, we did.
This week we will be covering Marvel's interpretation of Jesus.
Jesus.
Yes. So I mean, he first appeared. Are you ready to hear the comic book he first appeared in?
Is it Christmas Day?
Hot teen pregnancies, no.
Imagine.
Bible Tales for Young Folk, #1.
Okay, so Marvel was definitely trying to capitalize on the Christian marketplace.
Yes, yeah. This was all the way back in 1953.
Ha,
So
how
it reeks of we need parents to stop hating comic books.
so let's make
How do we
churchy
make
ones.
how do we make them like comic books? Show them that we'll do ones that they agree with.
Yeah, we'll do a Christian comic book. That'll feel easy.
Yeah, exactly. For the most part, his story is identical to that of the Bible.
Of
It just
course.
sounds like it was put in comic book form, at least to begin with.
Then it became a
As
mutant.
time's gone on and religions in general have had less power over media and
Yeah.
what can and can't be said, we've separated church from state in a lot of the world. So after that is where we get into the bit where they have a bit more fun with the concept. So items like the Spear of Destiny, which is the spear famously used to puncture Jesus on the crucifix to see if he was dead,
Oh yeah.
and the Holy Grail have been referenced, as well
Yeah.
as a rumor that Doctor Doom has some wooden splinters from the crucifix, the true cross, embedded in his armor as
Oh.
like a mystical kind of protection for extra power.
Interesting choice.
Because as we've discussed before, Doctor Doom is very much enjoys his magical items that he goes out and
Yeah.
finds.
He's quite the collector.
Yes, exactly. So like, there's been these things were there around then. Let's have a little bit of fun with them. There's also been villains obsessed with becoming gods, which is no real surprise.
Yeah, I mean that happens IRL.
But one in particular one was Miracle Man, who essentially used his powers to try and recreate Jesus's miracles, to try and convince people he was the second coming and to follow his word because he believed he could create a better world.
Bit too relatable to the real world.
Yeah, there are definitely some people who, if they had the ability, would try and pull off something like this.
So let me guess, he made water into wine. Walked on water.
He did some walking on water. He also tried to essentially recreate the Christmas story of Immaculate Conception and stuff.
Yeah.
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 One of the interesting ones is definitely this story must have definitely taken place. I'm gonna guess probably in the 70s.
Okay.
Actually no, by then they were willing to be a bit edgier. Maybe the late 60s. Ghost Rider, who is obviously dealt with Mephisto.
Mm-hmm.
And for a long time, Mephisto was just kind of portrayed as Satan.
Yeah.
And they've kind of moved away from that now, as Mephisto just likes to play Satan because then people can understand what he's about. But basically, he got one of his henchman to become Johnny Blaze's friend and
Right.
give him all these kind of mystical advices. And the design was very much inspired by how Jesus would be depicted. Now,
Right.
it's never specifically said that he was trying to pretend to be Jesus or anything like that. But based on what I can read, it looks like if you have any brain cells, you'd look at that and go, okay, cool. So he's supposed to be Jesus.
Yeah. You just
So
figure it out.
a little bit more tongue in cheek, but they still weren't brave enough to out and out impersonate Jesus in a comic
Yeah.
book. But it's revealed by the end of the story that it was actually just Mephisto trying to find another way to get Johnny Blaze to do as he was told, essentially.
Right. I get you.
Um, there was also, this is my favourite so far.
Oh. Here we go.
Howard the Duck, after a shenanigan, ended up in hell.
Ah.
And he went to Job's place, which is his favourite bar in hell. Now,
Right.
for
Okay.
those who never went to church or read any of the Bible or anything, Job is an Old Testament story of essentially a man who was the point of a bet between God and the devil. And basically, the agreement was you're not allowed to kill Job, but you can do whatever else you want to him, and he'll still believe in me. To try and prove, there's God's way of trying to prove to Satan that people would always believe in him.
Yeah.
Which is why it's quite funny that a drinking place in hell would be called Job's place.
Yeah. Nice.
But God was also there,
Oh.
because he was stressed out about what Hitler was doing to the world. So they kind of had a drink. But it's really interesting
Oh.
because the funniest bit about this to me is the fact that apparently God was a huge arsehole and ended up sneaking out and leaving Howard with the bill.
Oh. Classic.
Very much an Old Testament God, I feel. Not so
Mm.
much New Testament God. So yeah.
I love that. I mean, it screams. We added this in
It
to
screams
hit.
70s, doesn't it?
Yeah, and the whole like they clearly brought Jesus in to get that Christian market,
Yeah.
and then they're like, we've added this in now, but we don't
May as
really
well have a
care
bit of
about.
fun.
It's like we added this in when we wanted that demographic. Now we don't really care about that demographic,
Exactly.
but let's just fuck with it.
It's also been revealed that the three wise men are actually aliens. And the
Love it.
Star of Bethlehem is actually a star that travels the entire universe to mark significant moments throughout the entire universe. And these aliens follow the star throughout the entire universe from planet to planet to witness the important events it goes to.
And document it.
Yeah, essentially. So it's less of the three wise men just followed the star to Jesus, but rather their entire thing is they follow the star.
It's actually just three alien journalists.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of like the concept.
Yeah, no, it's actually kind of a cool concept.
It's tidy without leaving too many more questions.
Yeah.
And then finally, it's also been implied on a number of occasions by various X-Men that Jesus may have been a mutant, but no evidence for this has ever been shown. Which once again reeks of them wanting to sit on the line and not wind up religious people.
Yeah, because I feel like if they full on said he was a mutant, that might
That'd anger some people.
It'd have a few protesters outside Kevin's house.
Exactly. But that is Marvel's interpretation of Jesus. Nothing too wacky, but a couple of cool anecdotes in there, I think.
Yeah, and little fun kind of twists on it.
Exactly. Next week we'll cover Santa Claus in the DC universe, and then the week after that we'll cover Jesus in the DC universe. How fun!
That'll be the episode with the
boys.
The boys, so I'm sure they'll love hearing about DC Jesus.
Fuck yeah, they will. So this week, with there being no new content, I mean there was new content, but just in the form of trailers and stuff.
Yeah.
We decided we would watch
Another holiday
Another
special.
yeah, another holiday special. It was a animated Marvel one. What was it called? What was it
It
called?
was Avengers.
Marvel Superhero Adventures Frostfight.
Yeah, that was it.
It was kind of exactly what I expected it to be. It was something that would have been very fun to watch when you're like 12 or 13, maybe at the top
Yeah,
end.
yeah,
Um, it's not a horrifically weak story. It's not a great story. Animation was clean.
yeah. It
It would have been fun to watch, but it's not something that's going to get added into the must-watch every Christmas rotation.
yeah, it was very much a the Avengers Save Christmas deal.
Yeah.
Um, with your usuals of Loki being the master of mischief, wants to ruin Christmas,
I
and
did
the
like that it was a
Avengers.
proper Loki story in the sense of he's not necessarily doing anything evil. He's just
Yeah,
causing chaos,
he
just
just
being a bit of
wants.
shit.
Yeah, just wants Santa's powers
Yeah,
for no reason, just to have them. I
yeah.
did like that
Um,
after we talked last week about the different Santa origin stories is what caused Santa to get created in Marvel.
mhm,
We essentially got to see it from the Asgardian side, and that's
yeah,
kind of the story they went with.
yeah,
So that was cool, and
but yeah,
the addition of Groot and Rocket as well.
yeah. So what it boils down to is, um, Loki has put out a bounty
Mm.
on Santa Claus to the entire universe. Basically accusing him of things he didn't do so that people would want to go and get him. And then when they brought Santa Claus to him, he was going to steal his powers because Santa Claus is so powerful, as we all know.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a pretty simple concept. Then Thor finds out about this treachery and warns the Avengers. They spend a little while laughing about how Santa Claus doesn't actually exist, like idiots. Um,
Especially Tony, which
yeah,
is no surprise.
yeah. You'd think a capitalist like himself would enjoy the concept of Christmas and Santa Claus, but alas. And then they go about saving him. They split up into a couple of teams. We also have a character that I'm not familiar with, Reptile,
Yeah,
who is a youngish Avenger who seems to be able to turn into a dinosaur, but
yeah.
like with a lot of granular control over what parts of what dinosaur.
I mean, I didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it either. I would like to see the idea in a more fleshed out situation.
Yeah, I'd like to just know where the fuck he came from.
Yeah.
Like, who is this kid?
Let me have a little Google and see if he's just someone that was created because they thought kids would love a toy that they can.
Well, it was kind of. I don't know. Well, at least
Oh,
in
he
this
does actually
story,
exist.
huh?
Humberto Lopez.
I feel like he was in this story because they needed that bit of the kid's Christmas spirit is always the strongest
Yeah.
idea. So it's like, oh, let's add in a young Avenger, and he's the reason that they're willing to save. I loved Hulk. I have to say, I loved Hulk in this. It was funny. He was
Hulk
the most.
in this animated universe where that came from is very good.
Yeah, he was. I love that he was the most into Christmas, and he was launching presents like
Yeah.
meteors.
Yeah, because they found basically a gift shop Santa.
Yeah, more
Yeah,
Santa.
who was also called Nick, obviously Saint Nick,
Of course, why would they not?
and they essentially kidnap him.
What do you mean? Essentially, they
And,
do.
and they do Christmas themselves while using him as just the face of it, despite the fact that no one sees them.
Yeah, no, and it's literally just Hulk carpet bombing some like Arctic town or something. It's probably like I don't know. It's probably Canadian town or something. But he's
Yeah,
just there, just like carpet bombing, and then you just see the sleigh go. And it's just like, and it's like, this is a bit too much Hulk. Kind of reel it in
yeah.
there.
As I said, if I watched this when I was 12 years old, I'd have fucking loved it.
Yeah, it was.
Look, Hulk and Thor being silly, delivering the presents. They're supposed to go down the chimney.
Yeah, and then you
It
got
was really good. I
Groot
liked.
and Rocket
Yeah,
fighting
you got Groot
zombie
and
gingerbread
Rocket.
man.
Yeah, because they're trying to capture Santa Claus
I
to
have to
get the
say,
bounty.
the bounty was just. It's not that it's things Santa doesn't do. It's just things. It was just worded to make Santa look bad. As in, like, rather than he eats the cookies left from him, he steals cookies. He breaks into homes, which is what he does. He's just a B&E.
he just
Bit
kind
of
of
B&E.
twists the concept of what Santa does and makes it look bad.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, if an alien species arrived on our planet and we said, "Oh yeah, every year we kind of write letters to this being,"
Who then
and then
breaks
he
into our
breaks
home.
into our house and eats our food, but if we're not sleeping, he won't come.
And if we're good,
They would be a little bit horrified.
if we're good, he leaves us a little toy.
Yeah, and if we're bad, he'll leave us fossil fuels.
Yeah. Which I feel like Rocket would then be like, why would I be good then?
Yeah. So like I do like the idea of just twisting the concept of what Santa is, and a number of people would be like, "Hey yo, what the fuck?"
Exactly.
I like the portrayal of elves.
Yeah, they were like full on soldiers.
Yeah, they went for like the warrior style of elf, but they're still Santa's elves. The Emerald Guard.
Yeah, they went for like Norse elves, which are like tiny little workshop people, but
yeah, it was a nice twist that fits the idea of the Avengers and the combat and everything. But I mean, let's not act like it's an Oscar worthy.
Oh no, it's just a little animated.
It was a fun hour and 15 minutes that Marvel put out one Christmas to probably be on like Disney XD or something.
Yeah, it'll have been one to like it'll been ongoing on TV, and they've just timed this episode to go out at Christmas.
Exactly. But as content like that goes, it was definitely one of the better ones I've watched over the course of my life.
Yes, and much better than last week's Star Wars Fever Dream that we watched.
Oh, 100%. Like, so clear of the Star Wars Christmas
Probably
special.
a hell of a lot cheaper to make.
Probably, yeah. I would imagine so.
But yeah. I don't know what we're watching next week.
Next week's Christmas episode, we'll just fill it with a bunch of shit. We'll just filibuster.
True.
And you didn't hear that, guys. Make sure you tune in next week. There's great stuff.
Yeah, we've got loads of Christmas themed things to talk about.
Yeah, Christmas. Woo. But we did get one very, 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 very exciting thing this week.
Yes,
in fact, it was so big and exciting, I decided it needs to be separate from the Nerd News Network because this is more than just news.
Yeah, I mean, it was hyped up. Like, there was a lot of anticipation.
So as we mentioned, I think last week, we knew we were getting the Spider-Verse trailer soon.
Yes.
And it did not disappoint.
No, I'm so excited for this now.
It looks beautiful. The art style has not slipped at all. They didn't really show us any of the footage from the other like 12 styles they do throughout the film they were telling us about. Which I like.
Yeah, I saw some concept or like some art of the 3 different cities.
Yeah.
But that's kind of it. So there's obviously like that aspect of like we're gonna see every Spider-Man's kind of or a bunch of Spider-Man's homeworlds.
Homeworlds, yeah. But I like that they didn't put any of that footage in the trailer because it will make it special seeing it for the first time, not having any clue what to expect. We saw, I don't know what it's called for the Spider-Man, but we essentially saw like the multiversal community hub for the Spider-Man.
Yes. The little like I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, so like if you're a fan of Rick and Morty, it's kind of like the Council of Ricks.
Yeah, that idea.
I mean, the Council of Ricks is based off of a Marvel concept, which was the Council of Reed Richards.
Right.
Surprisingly enough, where they all met together to do a similar thing. I don't know if it's something that's been done in the comics. I imagine it is. But it was cool. And we got lots of fun little, like, spot the Spider-Man moments.
Yeah.
We got to see the Insomniac Spider-Man. We got to see the old PS1 Spider-Man from them games.
Yes, we did.
We got to see Bombastic Bagman. Yes. Who is Spider-Man in a Fantastic Four uniform with a bag over his head. Who else did we see? We saw Spider-Man Unlimited from the old Unlimited cartoon.
We saw Spider-Woman.
We did see Spider-Woman. We got to
Spider
see
Punk one?
Spider-Punk, who's going to be voiced by David Kalua. I feel like I completely butchered that name. I'm so sorry.
I think that's his last name. I don't think that's his first name. It's
David Kaluuya. Kaluuya. I'm so sorry. One sec. Let me see if it'll tell.
David? I don't think it's David. I think
Yeah,
you're
no, his
getting his.
first name. Oh no, Daniel. Sorry, Daniel.
Okay, yeah. You were close.
You know what it is? I typed in David Kaluuya, and I spelt his last name right, so it auto-corrected to Daniel, but didn't auto-correct the text. So it showed me
Oh,
who I wanted to see, but didn't.
I get you.
Yeah, Daniel Kaluuya, who was in Black Panther 1 and 2.
Yeah.
He's going to be voicing Spider-Punk, which I'm actually very excited for.
Yeah,
Um,
the artwork for Spider-Punk looks sick.
yeah, we got to see more of Oscar Isaac's Spider-Man 2099.
Yes.
And we didn't get too much of the plot, but we got enough. It basically boils down to Miles's mum is just, I love you, you're great, but I feel like I'm losing you. So no matter what, make sure you're always my little boy. Which, if you're a Spider-Man like fan, not that I'm trying to gatekeep Spider-Man, you know it never goes well for a Spider-Man whenever someone says, "Oh, I really want you to be happy." Like literally never ever gone well.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna
So
go
then
wrong.
Spider-Gwen comes to collect him and
Yes.
basically show him this squad group hangout. At which point, I'm going to be honest, it starts to feel a little racist. Because without a lot of context, we just have all of the Spider-Men who, I mean, 99.9% of whom is Peter Parker, just kind of seem to start chasing Miles. And then
Yeah,
seem very angry with him.
we get to see them like going through the multiverse, however they're going to do the travel. And then it's like he's there experiencing it, and he meets some of the other Spider-Men, Spider-Women, Spider-Peoples. And then something with the fucking big chonky one. He's pissed.
2099?
Yeah, that's it, 2099.
Yeah.
He's pissed for some reason.
He's really angry about something.
And then suddenly that results in them all chasing him.
I'm not gonna lie. I hope 2099 isn't portrayed as like evil. I hope they kind of go more for a misunderstanding that actually doesn't last that long, and the trailer just wants us to think it's Spider-Man on Spider-Man, but in actuality, there's a big bad behind it all.
I think it's going to be more a case of like he obviously goes. There's probably like certain rules that they try. Everyone agrees to follow along, and like because they're obviously all in this multiverse shit. Like you could fuck some shit up. I'm going to imagine Miles does something dumb because he's young and makes a mistake, and then they're like, "You're jeopardizing all of this," and get pissed at him. But then there's really a big bad that's actually fucking with shit up.
Yeah, probably not wrong.
But it looks amazing.
It looks so good.
I can't wait for more of the art style.
Yeah. Do you know what I really want? And these are not the sort of things that you should like actively want out of a film. This is me being a fucking moron.
Oh.
But I hope they find a way to one up the leap of faith scene.
Oh, I think they will.
Because I will probably be willing to die on the hill that that is one of the best scenes in any superhero content ever.
Honestly, yeah.
That leap of faith moment, that's the moment you know he's becoming Spider-Man, and then they invert it. So instead of him falling, it looks like he's rising. It is just gorgeous.
Oh, yeah, it's stunning.
And that's before you talk about how well the music is paired with that scene, the build-up, the art. Just conceptually, it's gorgeous. And then they literally went through a checklist of, okay, how do we make this better? And they can hit all of them. But I just don't know if you can beat. And don't get me wrong, one individual scene doesn't make a film good or bad. It just so happens this already great film had one of the best scenes ever in it.
Yeah,
but I want it. But it's only part one, isn't it? There's 2 parts.
Oh, is it?
We're gonna get left on a fucking cliffhanger at the end.
Oh, we are.
So actually, maybe this film will be Spider-Man on Spider-Man, and then at the end of it, they realise there's a big bad that they
He
need to work
realizes
together and deal with.
they fucked up and it wasn't Miles's fault or something. I know
Yeah,
something else with this one because obviously we
go on.
had Sunflower was like the song of
Yeah,
the last one. I know
which a banger.
Metro
Oh, it's
Boomin
Metro Boomin working on
working
it.
on the music for this one.
Ooh, that
So
could be cool.
because he put up a Instagram post of him, someone had done him as a Spider-Man in like
Oh, that's
black and
cool.
white and bandana on and stuff.
That's
So
really
yeah,
cool.
so should be some good music again this time.
Yeah, that would be fire. We also got a leaked concept art of Mayday, who is
Mayday.
Spider-Man and Mary Jane's daughter.
Oh yes, we did.
Um, which the internet's been having a lot of fun with because, I mean, historically, Spider-Man never gets to have a happy family for a long time in the comics. So
Yeah.
everyone's like, everyone who's ever written Spider-Man, punch in the air right now because he's happy and has a wife and daughter.
Why does everyone now fear for that kid's life?
Yeah. Well, no, Mayday will be fine. There's no way they've got the balls to kill off an animated child. But
Mm,
they'll find a way to make him really sad.
if I've learned anything nowadays in today's age of TV and cinema is no one is safe.
There
No
is
one
no
is safe.
way on God's green earth Sony are releasing a PG-13 animated Spider-Man cartoon and killing off child horror. That is not happening.
I don't
Mary
care.
Jane might die. Mayday's fine.
Okay, well yeah, maybe that'll happen. I'm trying to remember what the cities were. I know one of them was we saw Gwen's New York.
Yeah, I was about to say all the cities in New York. I'm
Well,
pretty
yeah,
sure
sorry,
they're
yeah.
just different versions.
I think it was Gwen's New York we've seen. Maybe the punk one?
I imagine we saw
And
the punk
and
one,
I think it was like a futuristic one. So
which will probably be 2099.
yeah. So I love this idea that we're gonna get to go to these
Mate, the different art styles are going to go so hard.
Yeah, it's gonna be so cool to see.
Imagine. I don't think they will, but just imagine, because we've heard rumors that Tom Holland Spider-Man's going to be in it. Imagine if that world is live action and that's how they tell us which actor is going to be playing Miles Morales in the MCU.
Imagine. Oh wait, what if it's a post? Like they do a post-credit scene.
Just imagine how fucking dumb lit that would be.
Or do they tease it in the he ends up in a live action and we get to see whoever it is in the suit,
But not
but
who's actually
we never
underneath
see
the mask.
yeah.
That would be potentially even more evil, but probably is a safer bet.
Safer bet, but also more gives you more to like anticipate.
Work with. Yeah. I don't think that will happen, just so we're clear. But if it does, I'm going to take credit for calling it. So,
Okay, of course.
So,
well, I mean,
these are the rules.
Pretty sure we probably have mentioned it a while back. So Kevin probably listened to podcasts and stole the idea. So yeah,
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Oh, I'd steal the idea too. It's a great idea. And that's about it from the Spider-Verse trailer. I'm very excited. I can't wait. It's also been moved forward like a week. No, the Flash has been moved forward a week.
3rd, June
June
2nd?
23rd.
Oh, I thought it was June 3rd.
Oh, let me double check then. Spider-Verse.
But that
no.
dates through the Spider-Verse.
Across the Spider-Verse.
Across, not through.
Oh yeah, we also got a new Miles suit that we saw.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the 2nd of June, you're right.
But obviously that date, we know what superhero scheduling's like. It could soon get pushed back a little bit.
It'll move 2 or 3 days, I'm sure. But we know it's definitely coming out this summer now, or next summer.
Oh yeah, it's going to be like the film of the summer.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And that brings us on to our 4th piece of the week.
Yes, keeping back on the Christmas theme.
Yeah. So last week, and this is why I've come up with this idea. Last week we discussed where we'd like to have Christmas
Yes, we did.
Day. And you raised the concern that while the Bat family would probably be the best, you just know Joker would find a way to fuck it up.
Yeah, you're going to pull a cracker and it's going to explode in your face.
Yeah, exactly. And I completely agree with you. But that then made me ask the question, well, some villains would go, no, it's Christmas, I'm not committing crime today.
Yeah.
So I thought we could discuss what villains we think are most and least likely to take a break for Christmas.
Okay. I
Pretty
have
simple
like,
concept.
I guess there's also like that weird um anti-hero bit where I think some of those would definitely take breaks because they're
Yeah, like your assassins for hires, your people like Taskmaster and that.
mm,
I think they just go, no, it's the holidays, I'm not working. Fuck off.
yeah, I've got better things
Because
to do.
yeah, they commit crime, but they do it. They literally it's just their job.
Yeah,
It's not that they have some ulterior motive. They're just trying to get that bread.
yeah, exactly.
So they're gonna be like, nah, this is PTO. Fuck off. Um, People like your Joker, they're pulling double shifts over Christmas.
Especially Joker, like the
Yeah,
really fucking crazy like
your Joker, your Green Goblin, your Two
Riddler.
Face. Yeah, a lot of your Batman villains
Yeah,
and
because
that
they're
kind
all
of ilk of just batshit crazy.
well, yeah, they're all
They're gonna
in
be pulling double
asylum.
time over Christmas. Penguin, he's taking a break over Christmas.
Yeah, I can see Penguin taking a break.
Yeah, he's a crime boss. He's just like, lads,
Yeah, go
the
spend it with your families.
yeah, just fuck off, just get out of my way. He doesn't want his goons moaning about not being
Yeah,
at
do we
home for
get time
Christmas.
and a half for Christmas?
Yeah. He don't want to deal with that shit. He makes them work like fuck during November to make up for it,
Yeah.
but they're off for Christmas. The Rogues, sorry, yeah, the Rogues, the Flash's main villains.
Oh
So
yeah.
Captain Cold and that they aren't pulling crimes off on Christmas.
No, yeah, I was gonna say they have their code anyway, and I feel like their code also
They're pretty
includes
good.
like we have a day off.
Yeah. They don't hurt people they don't have to hurt. What I can also promise you is I'm willing to bet it's 100%. I'm willing to bet it's probably a comic where they do it.
Okay.
They drop Christmas presents off for underprivileged kids or something as well.
Yeah, they'll do a robbery the night before Christmas.
Yeah.
Like Christmas Eve, pull a heist, and then they go and just drop that off at some orphanage or
Mhm.
something.
Yeah. And if any
Definitely.
other villains try and pull any shit on Christmas Day, they'll help the Flash.
Hmm. Yeah,
The rogues are the perfect villain for the Flash because they
have that
um
code.
yeah. The Flash knows he can kind of trust them if there's other shit going on to like not do anything too dangerous. Yes, you're stealing stuff and go try and stop you, but I also know you're not going to hurt anyone unless you absolutely have to, and this, that, and the other. So if Grod's pulling shit, yeah, you're going
Mm.
to try and take advantage of it, but I'm also not going to waste time worrying about you.
Hmm.
Um,
I think I'm trying to think like on Marvel side. I feel like Magneto and those sort of like
Magneto's Jewish.
well yeah, but I
He
still
don't give a fuck
think
about Christmas.
yeah, but I still think he
I think he would take a break over the holidays.
yeah, there's that certain level of respect against the X-Men. Although they butt heads a lot, like they still from the
I
same
like. In fact, we probably should have included the X-Men in our Christmas. Who would you rather spend Christmas with list?
yeah, that's good.
Because
Oh.
Christmas Day at Xavier Mansion's probably dumb lit.
Yeah, just got Wolverine carving the turkey.
Chaos, but dumb lit. Um, who else do we think is absolutely okay? Jeff
like...
Bezos. I mean Lex Luthor. Is he taking a break for Christmas? He's probably worried about unions, isn't he?
What, Jeff Bezos or Lex Luthor?
They are one and the same.
I feel like Lex would take Christmas off.
But do we know what religion Lex Luthor is?
Because like he's still
If he's anything other than like agnostic, he probably doesn't out of spite.
I don't know.
He's an atheist, so he'll take Christmas off.
Yeah.
If he would have been anything other than atheist or Christian, I could see him being the kind of guy who's like, well, it's not my religious holiday, so no.
Yeah.
He's also a capitalist, so he probably respects the concept of Christmas a bit.
I think it's safe to assume any alien villain doesn't give a shit about Christmas because they don't
Yeah,
understand it.
I agree. Ultron is
Yeah,
more likely he'll probably plan for Christmas, knowing that he has a better chance of getting away with it.
yeah, 100%.
Um, Doctor Doom, he's Romani. I feel like he'd celebrate Christmas. I reckon a Christmas in Latveria is probably sick. Actually,
Yeah.
just make sure you have an invite. I wouldn't turn up unannounced.
I think you've also got to remember, like, where these people, like the villains started from, who they were before.
Yeah,
Because like some of them will go, you know what, a little bit of like my old self comes out, and I want to remember Christmas.
yeah. Like Sandman isn't committing crimes on Christmas.
No, exactly.
He's being lonely, missing his family or whatever. Um,
I'm trying to think who else might.
Green Goblin, like Joker, is an absolute arse at Christmas.
Yeah, he's putting bombs in presents and
Yeah. Um,
causing absolute mayhem to Christmas travel. I can't. Loki's definitely causing a bit of mischief.
Loki and Thor at this point, their Christmas tradition is having a fight.
Yeah,
Um,
it's just Loki doesn't take a day off, but he only focuses on Thor. He don't like try to make it a bigger
yeah,
thing.
he plans something extra mischievous and less dangerous, and
Just
it's
to
just part
fuck
of their
with, yeah,
traditions.
just to
Yeah,
fuck
yeah,
with
yeah.
Thor. Yeah, yeah,
It's kind of in a cute way. Um,
yeah. Yeah,
like he does go just a bit too far, but it's all in kind of a good jest. Let's do something fun for Christmas. Let's fight like we used to when we were kids, when we weren't trying to actually hurt each other.
yeah,
That kind of a vibe. Um, who else really has a bad? I think Superman's pretty chill. I don't think any Superman villains are like pulling anything.
yeah. I can't.
For the most part, Zod is reserved for like special stuff, as well as Doomsday is safe for special stuff. Um, Brainiac might plan an attack for around Christmas, but I think it's unlikely. Um, I think that's one of the few times you'd risk pissing Superman off, especially since he's had kids. If you
Yeah,
pulled him away from his kids on Christmas Day, he'd like deal with you so swiftly.
yeah. Full force. Like
Yeah,
I got to
yeah,
get
yeah.
back for presents.
I'm gonna pull back. I'm gonna pull my punches just a touch less,
Hmm.
just to save a bit of fucking time here.
I'll tell you who is stuck doing stuff on Christmas. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
They they
100%.
try to celebrate it for the sake of like Star-Lord and that.
Yeah,
But definitely whatever they're dealing with doesn't have a clue or give a shit what Christmas
yeah.
is.
You just know if they're in the middle of like a problem that's taken a couple of weeks to solve on the lead up to Christmas, they're like the week before desperately trying to wrap it up so they have a chance.
Yeah, it's like they get back on the ship after they're done with dealing with it. The inside of the ship is all Christmas decorated. So it's like
Yeah,
they just step out into a fight, come back on. Oh, there's a turkey done.
yeah, yeah. I think that's exactly what it would be. They're kind of around the time of Christmas. The second there is a day where nothing's going on, okay, that's Christmas Day, and
Yeah.
they just do it then and get it out of the way, so
Yeah,
they know they've done it.
exactly.
They squeeze their Christmas Day into December. It just might not be the 25th.
Yeah. I think Batman has it the worst.
100%. He has too many just legitimately insane villains.
Yeah, and villains that love to do shit like you got Joker who loves to just put something in a cracker to blow someone up. You got the Riddler
Yeah,
who'd love to do something where you open a present and it starts a fucking trail of
yeah.
I've set up a tree that's gonna explode. Can you figure out where?
Fucking Mad Hatter making Christmas hats for people and shit. Like,
Yeah.
you just
If
yeah.
anything,
Batman's got a long out day.
Penguin might help Batman on Christmas. If anything.
Do you know what? I reckon Penguin leaves Gotham for Christmas.
Yeah, true. Probably just
He doesn't want the hassle. He just wants to enjoy his Christmas, and he knows with the other fucking lunatics in Gotham
Batman's got enough on his plate.
that it will just ruin his Christmas day. So he's just like, "Fuck this, I'm leaving. You guys stay out of trouble. I don't want the bat
Yeah.
to break both my hands the day I come back."
Yeah, it's
Um,
like, I don't want to get roped in, so I'm leaving.
yeah, yeah. Sends out a company-wide email. Best behaviour over Christmas. You remember what happened last year when you pissed off the bat? Yeah, I couldn't walk until this Christmas. Pack it in.
That's what. No, that's why it's great to work for the Penguin, because everyone gets Christmas off because he's not about, because he don't want to. He's like, everyone's got the day off. I don't want you doing anything. No one's doing anything.
Best behaviour. Do you know who? Do you know who'd scare me the most if I ruined Christmas for the Bat family though? Alfred.
Oh yeah, because if his
You know
his
that
dinner
you know
gets ruined.
yeah, that is the day he loves the most every year because everyone's back home, sit
Mm-hmm.
down safe for Christmas dinner. Anyone who ruins it, they just have Alfred turn up more menacing than Batman has ever been.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why the Joker actually behaves on Christmas, just in case Alfred
Mm,
rocks up.
nah.
That's
Joker.
my new favorite headcanon. The Joker behaves on Christmas out of fear of Alfred, not
Yeah.
Batman.
Joker's
Mm,
the Joker's more afraid of Alfred than the Batman.
I can back it to be fair. But anyway, that was a fun little
Yeah, bounce off last week's little
yeah,
rant.
a thought process. Feel free to let us know in the comics if there's any villains that we like really missed who would absolutely either work harder on Christmas or just take a huge break for Christmas.
Yeah.
I think we got most of the big ones.
Yeah, I think we did. And we covered most of the different groups.
Yeah. And that brings us on to a busy Nerd News Network week.
Yeah, it's been stacked.
Bro, it's been outrageous.
It was like a little bit of a sprinkling
Outrageous.
and like all hearing different little things. And then
Yeah.
suddenly, was it yesterday? We just got like,
Yeah. There was a lot.
which we knew was coming somewhat because we
Yeah.
knew that James Gunn and that were going to.
Yeah, we knew it was. Well, I'll be honest. I was expecting the news to break as we finished recording tonight
Yeah, that true.
because
That would have been
that would
the
be very much us.
yeah. That would be on brand.
So to start off with, Avatar's coming out this week. Won't
Yes,
be
it is
discussing
Avatar
it.
2.
I don't respect it.
Well, we've just discussed it and we've discussed it before. I think we've talked about it briefly before in the
Yeah.
past how much you hate Avatar. I will be seeing it.
I'd like to be clear here. While I will steer into the Connor hates Avatar, I don't hate Avatar.
Okay,
I
you hate
nothing Avatar.
what Avatar's become.
Yeah, I hate the circle jerking around it.
Yes.
The film itself, it's a film.
I am very excited for it. More so from, and I think I've said this in the past when we have touched on it, is like I come at Avatar from a visual creative side and how impressive it is for like visual effects and advancements in that like field. My Twitter, which is obviously very different to yours, has been up in arms, or I've seen quite a few discussions about how some of these VFX shots are done, because no one that it doesn't seem basically some of the shots we've seen in the trailers look impossible to do with VFX. Like the level of like what we're seeing is like CGI hasn't done that before, like replicated those things.
Though. I'm not being funny though, Hori. They've spent $2 billion on this. They fucking want to do something we haven't seen before.
This is the thing. So it's things, because obviously they're doing everything in water. Water simulations are very hard to sell realistically. Like, don't get me wrong, they're hell of a lot better now. But like, there's one shot where he's on like the back of one of these sea creatures, and there's like a harness, and everyone's focused on that because like there's weaving or whatever, and you can see the water like how it would be on a weaved fabric. It like gets trapped in the gaps and stuff. Everyone's like, that can't be, like, that's just no way is this CGI. But it is.
Because almost all of the drops would need to be simulated individually, and
like the
then
surface tension and all that. There's so many layers to it that would have to be like simulated, and everyone's like, this looks too fucking real that we can't comprehend. So
but for the amount of money they spent, unless someone's worked on the film to see how it's got there, should that not be the reaction? If you're going to spend that amount of money,
it should. Now here's the thing: there's people that like I've seen these discussions. No, there's discussions, and it's like it seems like they have done a very good job of like CG on top of. So it seems because there's someone who's worked on the VFX had commented on another shot where like they're running in the sand, and they're like, all that sand and the what you see there, like the actual set and landscape, 100% real footage. Someone was there running on it, but we've replaced the foot with a blue CGI avatar foot. So it seems they're like really well doing like CG people replacements.
Okay.
But
I mean, to be fair, if that technology just needed to be used on a bigger scale to make it more accessible and bring the price down, that could be a good thing for films in general.
mhm. It's gonna like
Um,
I think this film, if you're going in for hoping for like the best story and like this really captivating, like cinematic story, no, go into that film and pay attention to the
it's
visual
more of a
effects.
tech demo, let's be
No, it
fucking
100%
honest.
is. It is always been a tech demo because there's things that he did in the first one have progressed cinema.
Yeah. And don't
Like,
get me wrong, I respect that part of it.
hmm,
My problem is the people who act like it's the greatest film ever, when in reality it's just a very fucking expensive tech demo.
yeah, no, I agree in the sense of it's
And
not.
that's actually my only real issue with it. Like the first one, I enjoyed it. It's just the and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Marvel deserves the top spot of like the highest grossing film of all time, just
Hmm,
so we're clear here. But a glorified tech demo should not be the highest grossing film of all time.
yeah, I do agree that the
I
amount
think
they've
that's where a
spent
lot of my issue comes from.
the amount they've spent and how much they have to make back to make a profit is fucking ridiculous.
I think the optimistic prediction is they need to make 1.6 billion to
Break even.
break even. And that's like the optimistic projection. I think the one that's being accepted as more realistic is 1.9 to 2 billion is needed to break even. And here's my thing that I really makes me think this film is surrounded with a lot of bullshit marketing.
Go on.
Apparently, it's expected to make 500 million its opening weekend. Other than on Twitter, which we need to remember is a very small part of the internet, I've not even heard anyone fucking mention that this film's coming out this weekend. How the fuck are they expected to do 500 million?
I think they're getting that number. I do think that's skewed a bit to them.
Oh, it's got to be, hasn't it?
Well,
If it does 500 million this weekend,
I
I
think
will
they're
be baffled.
taking like they're taking themselves back to the hype after the first one of how people received the first one. People loved it. It was like this new thing. It was incredible visually. Had they released this film a year or two after that one, sure, maybe it could have done like these numbers, but I do
When
feel
did
that
the first
hype's
Avatar come
gone.
out? 2008?
Oh, fucking ages ago. Like this is the thing. It's like there's a whole fucking generation that has no clue what Avatar is.
Yeah, that was going to be my question. I'm googling Avatar and I can't even get it. It's just defaulting to Way of Water for fuck.
Avatar
Like when you
1,
can't even easily Google the first film,
2009.
2000. So this film is 13 years old.
Yes.
There is a child in puberty that was born after this film.
Yeah. Like there's kids that have no clue about the first one. It's just like no wonder the marketing's going mental trying to like build up hype for it because they're essentially trying to build up hype for a franchise some people have never heard of or watched.
I am willing to bet this film only just grosses, and this is going to sound ridiculous, but it's comparative to what they've spent. I think it only grosses about 1.2.
I
And that is only if the reviews from this opening weekend
well
are
yeah,
phenomenal.
this is the thing. I think like we're going in with the expectation that this is a glorified tech demo and the story's going to be subpar and it's mainly just there for the visuals. You never know. We could be wrong, and maybe he's come up with some really captivating story. If that's the case, and it has these raving reviews, and everyone starts talking about how fucking good it was, and like the story was good enough to get people talking in that way, maybe it breaks even. Maybe it does. I could see a world where it does if it gets the reviews and the reception that it needs.
Is that you assuming it breaks even if it only needs 1.6 to break even?
Yeah.
I don't see a world where it breaks even if it does need 2 billion to break even.
If it needs
I'm
2
not
billion,
I'm not being funny. The hype around Endgame,
yeah.
if Endgame barely even beat the first Avatar with how much hype was around Endgame, I
Hmm.
don't see how this film, that once again in real life I've not heard anyone even mention, I don't see
I
how they think
don't.
they're making 2 billion
It.
unless you get like the company sinking more money in to buy out entire cinemas to skew the numbers in their favor to make it look like a success.
Maybe it makes 2 billion once it's on digital and physical release. Like maybe it can make that final chunk of people buying it. I don't know. But
But
you've
when you
also got
talk
to
about
remember.
what the film's gross, that I don't think that's ever included DVD sales.
I don't know.
That's only ever included cinema tickets.
Probably. But also you have to remember, like the UK especially is in a cost of living crisis. And this is Christmas, where people already put themselves in shit with money for Christmas because
The
of
amount, yeah,
people aren't good with their money anyway at Christmas. Like they'll overspend on for the sake of Christmas and then
yeah,
worry about it in January. They ain't gonna add a cinema trip to that
yeah.
for a film that is it's like could really look. It might look
Hey,
stunning, but
I'll keep it a buck 50 with you when the film comes out on DVD, and I mean we essentially collect DVDs in my house.
mm,
I will probably watch it, but I promise you, it will take a fucking miracle for me to go anything other than it looked really nice. They spent far too much money on it. And you know what? I
I
know I sound like such an asshole. I would like to be proved wrong.
I mean, I would very much like to be able to walk out there and go, "Holy shit, that was a really good story as well."
Yeah.
I know I'm gonna walk out and go, "That was fucking stunning visually."
I think the only time you can actually say the story was worth it though is if you walk out thinking about the story rather than how good it looked.
Well, yeah.
Because if something looks really good with a good story, the cinematography is one of the things you bring up after you've been discussing it for 5 minutes. You're like, oh, the acting was great. I love the story. That scene made me feel this and that. And you know what? It was beautiful to look at as well. That's how you discuss like really good films. Whereas every conversation I've ever had about the first Avatar is it's such a beautiful film. Story was a bit lackluster, but the film was amazing.
Yeah, I think
And unless the people who like talk to me about the film start off by talking about the story, it's in my head straight away. I'm going, okay, so it's just like the first one, looked beautiful, but there's no depth.
I wonder if like they make their money back through selling the technique, like the tech stuff they built for
I,
it.
I think not just including like ticket sales, which is what's normally produced,
Yeah.
they can break even on the film.
Yeah, but
Um,
I think it's
but the
ticket sales
grossing of two
determines
billion,
if they do 5
yeah,
or 3. Because that's
yeah.
something else he said, is that if this
He said he has
doesn't
scripts up until 8, didn't he?
possibly, I know his plan was always 5, and he's already got the third one's partly made, and obviously it's like already partly made, so he's written it in a way like he can tweak it so that the story wraps up in the third if this one doesn't perform. So that's the thing. If this does perform by a miracle, best believe we're in for 5 of these.
And I just that. And do you know what? Do you know what my another big concern I have for that is when this entire franchise rests on being something no one's ever seen before. How, when the next three after this one are due to come out by 2026, are they going to improve enough for it to be worth it? Or is it going to get to the fourth one and everyone's going to go, well, 3 looks the exact same as 2. The story for them was mediocre. Why am I spending 15 quid to watch the same shit again?
Well, it's going to be the next one or something they'll do. I was trying to think like what elements can they tie these into each time, and I'm like, maybe they do a full on like air. But I suppose that was the first. Well, the first one was kind of They could
It was
do
more
some.
earth than air, I guess.
Yeah, so maybe the third one
It
is
was a
like
bit too much of both
to
and
be
not
just
enough of
yeah.
either.
Yes, I get what you mean. Maybe they do like some crazy third one. There's like another element, and it's like needs new techniques again for that. And then yeah, maybe by the fourth one, it's like well, these are just
Well, yeah,
accumulation of them all
what
now.
new have you got? If they wanted to do enough on these, like essentially every 15 years as glorified tech demos, and they've just kind of marketed it that way of like,
Yeah,
we have gone out there just to push cinema to the very furthest we can with an okay story, I think I'd actually respect it a lot more. The
yeah.
fact is they're trying to sell me on a cinema masterpiece that is actually just a very
Especially because the next ones are going to come out
interesting
closer
thing.
together.
Yeah.
But then
It's just
also the issue is if we had to wait 13 years for each one, I don't know if we'd see the end of the collection.
I think the bigger concern would be whether James Cameron
Well, yeah,
sees the
that's
end of the
exactly.
collection. But do you get more of my point there?
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah, I
if
do.
they've made it like a running series that's done every 10, 15 years just to push the technology in cinemas further
Mm.
along.
It's yeah, I think James Cameron's a bit too. He has these grand ideas of how to push cinema, but he's a bit too ambitious on the public receiving.
Yeah,
It's like just because you have a great idea of something that you want to see doesn't necessarily mean everyone else is going to enjoy it.
exactly.
So, but I'm all for it. I'll probably will go see
Okay.
it at some
For
point.
something that we weren't discussing
I
and
know.
still
I
I
was
don't
just thinking that.
respect,
I was like,
you
very good point.
managed to see. This is the problem with doing a podcast and my inability to move on from a topic.
Especially when I was willing to talk about the topic.
Yeah, you're a bastard. Star Wars Survivor
Yes, we
got
got it at the
its
Game
announcement.
Awards.
Yeah, when was the release date of that again? I forgot to write that down. It wasn't the leaked one, which was like March 15th.
It's
It
like a
was like
couple
March
days after.
13th. Oh, maybe it was leaked as the 13th and it's actually
Yeah,
the
I think it's the
15th.
15th. I think it's a couple days after what it.
But it's not that
was
far
leaked.
away,
No,
which is
it's
very
really
fun
not.
and exciting. There's rumors, although they've still not been confirmed or debunked, about potential Obi-Wan Kenobi gameplay, or maybe it's just a skin so you can play the main game as Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Or he just shows up like he's a character or
Yeah,
something. Yeah, we don't know.
but like Obi-Wan Kenobi has been linked with this project. We just don't know in what capacity that may take place.
Yeah, and going off the trailer, it seems like we've jumped forward a bit in time.
Yeah, it's like a 5-year time jump.
Possibly something like that. So
He looks pretty beat the fuck up. He's
Cal's
got
looking
some
beat up.
scars.
Hit the I forget the
BB-1.
Jedi, the woman, the coloured woman that was helped him.
Yeah, I forget her name as well.
She looks like she's way more set up somewhere.
Yeah.
And like, so they've obviously got this like full on operation going on.
Yeah, I like the idea of the story being slightly less linear, just slightly.
Yeah,
with a little bit more freedom to explore.
Well, they've said it's going to be more open world, haven't they?
Yeah.
So
well, yeah, I mean, it's not often in the Star Wars universe. I don't think actually ever in the Star Wars universe you've been able to explore the Empire.
Yeah, I'm hoping this means that like it's going to be a case of you can choose like which planets and stuff you go to for what mission, and it's going to be a case of like go find person of interest or go find item of interest, bring it back, and you can basically choose what order you do stuff in, and it like unlock the next sections of the main story and stuff depending once you've got so much done. The Game Awards like had this full on tank on stage, like whatever the person that's in the trailer, there's someone in a tank that is missing an arm, and I don't know who that is. And I don't. It obviously is someone of importance for this game.
Yeah.
So whether it's a Sith or Jedi, or it could be a brand new character, I'm interested. But I mean, once again after this trailer, I'm just like, why we need Cal in live action. Just get us Cal in live action. Come on now.
Yeah. When Cal Kestis is literally
the actor.
Yeah, I forget his name. Who's also a phenomenal actor. Just move him into live action.
Yeah, like it's so simple. I honestly, because obviously we're gonna get another Obi-Wan series, aren't we? Season. I
I
mean,
think it's officially confirmed, but it's expected.
yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
maybe he
maybe
does have a cameo in
this,
the game, and
and
then
then
we get a
yeah,
cameo in the show. And the actor has been very clear about the fact he wants an opportunity to do something live action.
I think it just makes sense. Like, it'd just be really
It
cool
does.
because then it pulls that game. Like, obviously, it's already canon, but like, it pulls it even more into.
Yeah. It'd be fucking sick. Sick. I want it.
Especially because you got Dave Filoni. Like, the amount of things he's pulled from the animated series into live action and tied in because he wants to. Like, it just, come on. The
Yeah.
man's probably got ideas, so.
You know what it is? We just need to get Dave Filoni like forced to play the game.
He
And
probably
then
will
once he
play the
plays
game.
once he plays the game, he'll be like, "Oh, I'm using this guy. He is mine now."
Yeah, he'll play this
Would
game
you
and he'll suddenly get the idea of exactly how to bring him in.
I'm surprised that Dave Filoni didn't already fall in love with the first game when he realised you had to live through Order 66 again.
He probably has like played it and loved it. But you've also got to remember there's apparently like for things he wants to do, there's stuff in this Ahsoka series coming out that he's visualized the scene 5 years ago. He's been waiting 5 years to make it happen. So like he's probably played the game and he's got this idea. He just knows it's 5 years down the line when he's actually going to be able to bring Cal in.
Dave Filoni forever playing the long game.
Yeah, literally. But yeah,
he's going to have me 50 years old, you 105 years old, having to rewatch Order 66 again and again.
You're really just going to like make me out to be twice your age. Oh, I'm fuming off that. It's unnecessary. Just unnecessary. But yeah. We're going to forever be reliving Order 66.
Oh, forever. Forever living Order 66.
It'll just be through flashbacks.
And you know what? We're going to make our kids probably do the same.
Yeah.
Dad, it's another Order 66 episode. I don't want to watch it. It's too sad. You will sit there and you will watch it.
You've got to also show them in the right order, so the build up to Order. Like you've got to let them get attached to this universe, and then watch the younglings die.
More game news.
Yes,
we got another trailer for the Suicide Squad. Let's Kill the Justice League.
We did indeed.
In which we got to see a Batman.
We did.
Which has been confirmed to be voiced by Kevin Conroy.
Mm-hmm.
Which will, after his very sad passing, make this his last ever performance as Batman.
Yes, it will.
The trailer was really cool. It had Batman being Batman, but obviously he's a bit evil because he's been taken over.
Mm-hmm.
And then he comes out of the shadows. It cuts to black, and we get the iconic Kevin Conroy voice line of "I am vengeance, I am the night, I am Batman," which every time I hear it, shivers, absolute shivers. It is the most Batman has ever Batman.
What a sentence.
And I love it so much. I don't think he did that line for the game. By like the way the audio sounded, it sounded like the original audio from when he said that from one of the shows that they used for that. So I don't necessarily think he says it in the game, but I think they chose his most iconic line to kind of
do
say,
like a
"Here we go."
Yeah.
It's set in the Rocksteady universe, just like Arkham Knights, which has just come out, in which Batman is dead. So a lot of people are kind of like, I don't think originally they were going to tell us Batman's in this game, and it was going to be a surprise during the game. But because of Kevin's passing, they wanted like a trailer to like say
commemorate
goodbye, we love you. Yeah. So that's kind of why they've teased that early.
I can see that being the reason.
I'm very excited for Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. I think it's going to be a great game. I can't wait to get my hands on it.
Yeah, hopefully it's better than Arkham Knights.
I had that game pre-ordered until about 3 days before it came out. Then I saw some of the early access reviews, and it had moved even further away from what I was hoping it would be towards what I really didn't want it to be. And I was like, I'm going to go ahead and cancel this pre-order and then see what the full release actually looks like. And then it was shit, and I've not even
Unfortunately.
considered buying it. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, when pre-ordering, that you can cancel your pre-order, and you absolutely should if the game takes a turn towards something that you don't want. Game companies do not deserve our money. They
Looking
have
at
to
all
earn
of
it.
you who pre-ordered Call of Duty.
Hey, I pre-ordered Call of Duty.
Still looking at you.
Only after I only like kept my pre-order after I played the beta though. I pre-ordered it to get early access to the beta with the full intention of cancelling it if the beta wasn't what I was expecting to see, like I did with Vanguard.
Yeah.
That is another good way to use pre-ordering.
Yes.
But yeah, that was all really about Suicide Squad. There is, however, before we get into the really juicy DC news that all kind of links together.
I'm sure you're all waiting for.
Yeah, there's been lots of trailers come out for films coming out in June in the last couple of weeks. We've had the Transformers trailer, the Spider-Verse trailer. There was another one that I'm forgetting. And then also in that month, The Flash is due to come out. So now fans are kind of going, this film's been delayed like 3 times. It's coming out in the same month as these 3 other films that all now have released a trailer. Where is your trailer? And there is no trailer.
Honestly, I think we get a trailer very last minute because they're just like, just fucking chuck out a trailer, film comes out, get it done and out the way.
I'm genuinely curious to know if they didn't know if the film was still going to be released and they've only just got like the confirmation that the film is definitely coming out.
I think
They have moved up the release date.
I do think they're waiting as long as they can for all the like new shit to really die off before they like remind us about the film with a trailer, because they know it's just gonna like stir up the pot again. So they're just kind of like waiting as long as they can without people bashing on the film, because they know put a trailer out, everyone's going to be like, why is he still in the film? Ezra Miller's film shouldn't be happening. And they obviously don't want to have to deal with that. But I also think there's part and parcel with obviously all the DC news and James Gunn. They were probably waiting to find out what his slate and plan was for DC.
Yeah.
And kind of figure out a release schedule for the trailer after that.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if we get like the trailer like a couple months before, if that. And they just like trailer, film, boom, done, out the way, forget.
The film is definitely coming because they've moved the release date forward like 2 weeks or a week. So like the date has moved again, but closer to us this time. You don't do that if you're worried the film's about to get canned.
No.
So I can only assume they do have confirmation out the film's coming. So now it is just a waiting game for the trailer. I don't know what their game plan is. Do they just wait for the trailers of competing films to die down in hype a little bit because they knew they can't beat the Spider-Verse trailer hype, and just wait for a little vacuum in the trailer sphere and then release it?
Probably some of that. I do also think that, like we've said, this film's probably more so going to be just them recuperating cost.
Yeah, I think they just know they've sunk all their money into it, so let's see if we can get anything back.
They'll save money by putting a trailer out sooner because then they don't have to push trailers out, more than one trailer out.
You mean later by putting it
Sorry,
close to the
later.
film?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there is also that.
Like
if you wait until 2 months before the film, only release one trailer instead of editing another trailer to release 2 months before the film as a second trailer. Yeah.
Less marketing costs and stuff, which they'll be trying to be careful on.
There may well be an element of that.
So yeah, who knows when we're going to get this trailer? Who knows?
Now into the thick boy DC stuff that all kind of links together.
Yeah, the breaking DC news.
Yes. So last Thursday, it got confirmed after like the Wonder Woman and everything got confirmed to be cancelled. A Michael Keaton Batman film was confirmed to have been cancelled. And it has now been leaked / confirmed / this is what was believed to be the case. that Michael Keaton Batman film was actually going to be a Batman Beyond film with Michael Keaton playing an older Bruce Wayne.
Yes.
I am furious.
Mm.
All I've ever wanted is a live action Batman Beyond. I feel robbed. I feel hurt. I feel sad.
Yeah, but I mean, you never know. James Gunn might do something his way
Yeah.
for Batman
I
Beyond.
just think
Like,
Michael Keaton's probably the perfect age right now for a little bit of the action scenes to not feel ridiculous, but also being old enough that he could be an old Bruce Wayne.
yeah.
I think a little bit too much older, you lose a little bit of the believability of him doing any action whatsoever.
Yeah.
At which point you're then having to look for someone else. And I don't know why. I want whoever plays old Bruce Wayne to have played Bruce Wayne in a legitimate Batman film. So unless they want to
Yeah.
wait 15 years for Ben Affleck, which I don't want.
Or Christian
Not
Bale.
not that I don't want Ben Affleck, that I don't want to have to wait 15 years, just so we're clear. I think Ben Affleck could be a very good grumpy old Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's unfortunate. There's probably many other films that we would have. Like, I bet there's loads that we haven't heard about that we would have we've been like, oh,
yeah.
actually, that would have been a
And
great
don't get me
one.
wrong, I do kind of get why you'd save the money, because the Batman Beyond film is going to it needs to be done right, and actually the amount of people who would care if it doesn't get made is a lot smaller.
Yeah, and also
Like, don't
they've
get me
kind of
wrong.
looked at the bigger picture, right?
Yeah,
Make sure it's got to make sense and fit into this new DCEU.
exactly.
So
Exactly. And and if they're doing a full DCEU, 20 years, they might just then move to that period of time where you have a Batman Beyond instead of a
yeah,
Batman film. Maybe that's the way they're going with it.
possibly.
The other rumor, which has been denied by James Gunn, but I mean, James Gunn denies shit all the time for fun. Doesn't necessarily mean it isn't true, but do take it with a pinch of salt.
Mm-hmm.
Is that apparently Matt Reeves is wanted, and his Batman films are wanted to be part of the main DC universe.
Well, we've
There is
talked about
definitely,
this.
there's definitely weight to it in the sense it's the only Batman that actually fucking exists right now. The film was a smashing success. Everyone wants more. Matt Reeves has been confirmed to be staying on to do his next Batman film, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm. And
It
he's
would
got
make
like
sense.
first dibs on the Bat universe stuff or something.
Yeah. I mean, that was the case under old leadership. We don't know if James Gunn's honouring that. I'm just going to assume he is until we
Yeah.
hear otherwise.
What
But,
we've
so,
talked
I
about
mean,
this,
go on.
but like that film, don't get me wrong, the film's great. We've both talked about how much we love that film. It's a very unique style in
Yes.
terms of like trying to do a full DCU. To tie that in and it not feel like out of place would be
What
really
I will say
difficult.
is the style very much fits the world from a Bruce Wayne's psychological perspective.
Yeah.
So if they do every film with the mindset of let's film this as the main character perceives it, so Superman would be very bright and colourful and vibrant,
Yeah.
it can work. The films will look very different, but tonally it will make sense because
Yeah.
everything will match the character internally. But I do get your concern of you don't look at that world that Batman was in and imagine people flying around in the sky. You don't.
No. And it's also like, it's great do it. Like, yes, you could do everyone's film, like Superman's film could be from his perspective. The problem then arises when they do like a Justice League film. And it's like,
Yes. How do you style that?
yeah, how do you style it? And then it's like, is this Batman going to look so out of place, not in his style? Like, he looks great in his style, but does that Batman work not in that style?
Yeah.
And
If
it's
you
like,
make the Justice League film center around like a brainiac, therefore Superman would be a big part of that. So you go for his style. Is Batman going to look fucking ridiculous? Yeah, 100%. It's a very valid concern.
so
And that is why I can also very much believe that James Gunn is happy to let the Matt Reeves Batman continue,
yeah,
but he's gonna get his own Batman.
yeah, and I think the more realistic thing, which I think I've also mentioned or we have on the podcast, is it might not necessarily be Matt Reeves' current Batman, but Matt Reeves might help because he clearly has a huge love for the Bat franchise and Batman and all that. It's just like it doesn't mean that James Gunn isn't going to lean on Matt Reeves for them working together to come up
Yeah.
with who his Batman is and the direction of it.
He
So
might get him involved to help write the script, but allow another director who's going to fit his universe more tonally to direct it.
yeah,
Like,
so
there's
Matt,
options.
yeah, Matt Reeves might still have his kind of like be there at the table, but it might not necessarily be his Batman that we've already seen.
What I will say, while I love Matt Reeves' Batman, and I'll happily watch a trilogy in that style, if they do decide to make that Batman the DCEU's Batman,
Hmm.
I don't want the entire DCEU done in that style because that'll feel dull.
Yeah, no, I
For a
don't.
lot of characters, that style would feel horrific. I
Yeah,
never want to see a Superman film done in that style.
well,
That
no,
would be
yeah,
the
it
worst
doesn't.
thing ever.
And to be honest, I also don't think Matt Reeves ever would. I feel
No,
he's done that style because that is the Batman. Like it
exactly.
spoke Batman through and through, and it's like again, yeah, I think had he done a Batman knowing that it was going to be a Batman part of something bigger, Matt Reeves
He
probably would
might
have
have
done
done
it
it a
in.
bit differently.
Yeah, he would have probably done it completely differently. But like that film was always meant to be a standalone,
Yeah.
potentially a trilogy on its own.
Yeah, I'd happily see that Batman film linked up with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, which obviously isn't going to happen because they got Barry Keogh.
You never know.
But
Maybe the
like,
second Batman's a musical as well.
but like, yeah, let that Batman be its own thing. And don't get me
Yeah,
wrong, some other superheroes could work in that style.
yeah,
So if they work in that style, fine, have them over there. But I just think that the main universe is better off being done completely fresh.
I agree.
Which
I agree.
brings us on to the next thing. Henry Cavill isn't Superman anymore again.
Sad news, unfortunately.
I have some very, very, very strong fucking thoughts about this.
Ooh, spicy.
Okay, so
Here we
back in
go.
October,
Buckle in. Yes.
Henry Cavill came back as Superman. He was in Black Adam, and then he did a nice big announcement post of basically, "Hey bitches, I'm back. I'm Superman again. What? Let's fuck some shit up and have a great time."
Mm-hmm.
Then about 2 weeks after that, James Gunn and what's his face got their job.
Yeah.
Now, I vaguely remember us discussing, well, we can only assume that they talked to them about wanting Henry Cavill back, and that's why Henry Cavill's back.
Yeah.
Clearly, they fucking didn't. What are you doing, Warner Brothers? It's not like they randomly on a Tuesday hired James Gunn and this guy out of nowhere. That's not a process that happens in any less than 6 months.
Yeah.
So they knew they were getting towards this point when they said to Henry Cavill, "Yeah, go and announce it, broski."
Do you know what I think Warner Brothers did here? They had him come back for Black Adam because,
Butts in seats.
well, butts and seats, and also that was obviously, I would imagine, um, The Rock and the director and writer, or whatever, probably were like, "Oh, this would be a really cool way to like do a post credit scene. Maybe we have Superman appear, and it like sets us up for a second film if we can get greenlit for a second film." They pitched the idea. Warner Brothers like, you know what? Yeah, this will probably help sell some things on this film that we're not so sure about. So they go to Henry Cavill. We've got like, here's your chance to get back into the suit. It's just a small like cameo, and maybe this will lead to more. Film comes out. It's done well. People are like, they can see people are happy about Superman. Like they're like, oh shit, this is worked. People are happy to see Henry Cavill back. We'll tell Henry he can announce he's back as Superman. Helps build more hype for Black Adam because people are then going to go, wait, he's in Black Adam. Let's go watch Black Adam then, and get excited for DC. Not ever going and asking James Gunn, like, should we wait
Yeah.
to say
What
this?
are your what are your preliminary plans?
Just presuming that James Gunn will just have him.
remember, James Gunn said in his tweets, which we'll get onto in a minute, that he's been working on his Superman script for a while.
Yeah.
Which means if they would have asked him, he would have been able to tell them, hey, I'm going for a young Superman. Henry Cavill doesn't fit that bill, just so you know.
Yeah.
So either he's lied to them somewhere along the way, which I don't think he'd do, because why would he bother doing that? He's been given creative control. Why would he feel the need to lie?
Yeah, I do you know what I think
Or
he
Warner Brothers executives haven't fucking listened to him when they were getting ready to bring him on board,
Yeah.
or bother to actually talk to him and interview him properly in like ways meaningfully, and now they've just left an actor completely screwed. We know Henry Cavill wasn't particularly happy on the set of The Witcher anyway,
No.
but as an actor, it's much easier to leave a paying job like I'm sure The Witcher was paying very well when you know you're going back to do Superman shit. But now
Yeah.
that Superman shit is gone. Don't get me wrong, I doubt Henry Cavill's going to be on the fucking breadline anytime now.
No.
But do we think he necessarily quits The Witcher if he isn't going back to be Superman? Maybe not.
I don't know. I do still think there's a world like he would have always
It,
quit The
it
Witcher.
definitely gives
But
Netflix more of
here's
an opportunity to work with him
yeah.
if he's not going back to be
Here's
Superman.
here's my thought. When they've been doing the process of bringing James Gunn on and interviewing him and talking to him and whatnot, they've probably said in those questions and talks and chats that they'll have had many of, like, oh, what do you vision like are the core parts of like the DCEU? And he's probably said Superman. He's probably mentioned that Superman is a core part of the DCU and has a place. And that's probably as much as he said because he probably was writing a script, like he said, and wasn't maybe sure. And they didn't ask any details on that, like if he's writing anything yet. They probably just heard he's going to have Superman. Cool. Superman's still a thing. Henry Cavill comes along, back in the suit. Everyone's happy. Well, there we go. Superman's already sorted for. We can go to James Gunn and say, look, here's your Superman. We've got it sorted for you. It's one less thing on your plate because we're a good company who know how to run things.
Yeah.
Because we're Warner Brothers. And then, yeah, James Gunn's gone, I'm doing Superman, but I ain't doing that Superman. And they've gone, oh, well, we kind of already told him he got the job, but now you're saying he hasn't got a job?
It's just such a.
I think the one good thing from it was in those tweets that James Gunn put out, and he was saying the Superman he's doing is in his younger days, but he mentioned that he has been talking with Henry Cavill and they've had good conversations and he thinks he's a great person and there's potential opportunities in the future, meaning maybe he doesn't come back as Man of Steel and Superman. Maybe now we get to see it. Maybe he gets an opportunity to play a different role in DC. Maybe James Gunn likes him in that and uses him in a different role. Something I also saw was that like this does now actually, if there was ever any talks with Marvel that then got put on hold because of this, like he was like, I can't go through with them.
They can turn to him and go, hey, guess what? We've only ever fucked over one actor, and that was like 14 years ago.
And yeah, and they'll also
you want to be Superman? Why don't you come be Sentry? We always get told he's just a stolen Superman anyway.
I wouldn't surprise me if his agent's gone back to like whatever discussions probably have been had with Marvel.
Well, there will have been discussions had. Let's not act like Marvel have never reached out and gone, hey, would you ever like to work with us?
So like I think that shit's back on the table. Whether Netflix come running back and be like, so you're not on DC now, but do you want to save this Witcher thing that everyone's now very scared about? Obviously not.
Why don't we pay you twice as much as before to come do season 4? We'll write it so it finishes off the story. Our fans aren't unhappy. You get the ending to the project you've worked so hard on, and a butt-ton more money than before.
Unfortunately, that's not going to happen.
I highly doubt it. But I wouldn't be surprised if they're the kind of conversations they're having. How about we write a script that ends the story? You get to finish off this project.
Imagine they come back to him and be like, we've seen the fan reception, we want you back. And then they just sack off Liam Hemsworth.
See, I don't think they've actually officially confirmed Liam Hemsworth, though.
I
Is
think they
that not just
have.
like a stupidly large rumor that everyone knows is basically
I
fact?
I thought Liam Hemsworth had confirmed it.
Let's just quickly double check here.
Liam Hemsworth, The Witcher.
Oh, no, he has been confirmed.
Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure Henry Cavill's also said like Liam's going to do a good job, which obviously he's going to say.
Don't you just love pausing an autoplay video on a news website and it still plays and still makes loads of noise so you can't hear anything else?
Someone's made a deep fake of what Liam Hemsworth's going to look like.
Yeah, it's not great, is it?
No.
But maybe they do sack off Liam Hemsworth.
Can you imagine though? That'd be
Do you know
savage.
what the sad thing is? It's savage as fuck for him. I don't think any fans would complain though,
No, no
which
fans would
makes it
complain.
worse in a way.
Yeah, I think Witcher's done and
Oh
dusted.
my god, Liam Hemsworth's a little bit younger. Imagine he gets cast as the new younger Superman.
Just could you know?
That would be funny. That'd be top tier banter.
They need to get. This was like 10, 15 years ago, whenever Smallville was out. You would have just got Smallville actor. I forget what his name is. But this is the thing. I'm so down if we get like a Smallville-esque Superman.
So this was the next thing I was going to mention. This is what confused me. He said he's focusing on a younger Superman, but it's not an origin story.
I think we might get like a Smallville where he's kind of still figuring out what the fuck.
Still living in Smallville, hasn't made the big leap yet, but is already actively being Superman.
Yeah, doing things and like starting to figure out his powers and what like in that transition period.
I could be down for it. I think that could be quite cool.
It's that or like when he first moves, right? And he's super still.
So he's already been being Superman for a little while, and now he's finally taken the leap into moving into Metropolis. Maybe. Also, can we talk about the amount of shit writers used to get away with? Metropolis and Smallville.
It's great little town.
Bro.
Right, we want Superman to grow up on a farm in like a small town, Smallville.
And then he needs to go to this big bustling city that's really like metro and urban. Oh, Metropolis.
Yeah, we can't call it New York.
Yeah, it's fucking hilarious. Anyway, but one thing that James Gunn did answer on his tweets about what was going on, he's writing the Superman script.
Yeah.
He is not going to direct it. They're going to find another director.
Mm-hmm.
People asked about Ben Affleck being the director for it, and he said he doesn't think he's right for this, but he's very keen to work with him on something else. I don't think that was something else in that he already has something in mind. He's like, I'd like to work with Ben. We've just got to find the right thing.
Yeah, I think he's got. We've talked about that. Like, we don't expect James Gunn to do every film like Kevin did at the beginning, because that's not James Gunn's style, and his style doesn't fit with every film. So I'm glad that he said like a Superman film, he's giving that into someone else's hands. I think that's the right move. I think the idea of how he wants to do something with Ben Affleck is like is putting together a list of directors that he knows would be good at superhero films. He just has, when he's got the right film, he'll like bring them on, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm interested to see. He also like mentioned that like the slate they have, he's very excited for.
Yeah. And you know what James Gunn's like? He loves a bit of Twitter. He'll drip feed people stuff when there's a slow news week. That is one thing. That is the one outstandingly good thing I'll say about him being now in creative control. If there's ever a slow news week, he will just say something to cause conversation.
Yeah, where Kevin
as
lets
podcasters, that's something we like to hear.
Kevin lets it happen internally with leaks.
Yeah,
James Gunn is the leak.
James Gunn will get bored on a random Tuesday at 11 a.m. and just go, "Ayo, by the way, we've cast Wonder Woman. The film's coming out this date."
Yeah, but like, by the way, no one seems to want to leak this, so I'll do it myself.
I've sent extensive documents to 4 news outlets and no one is printing it.
Yeah, no one believes it's me.
I don't know how Kevin does this so effectively.
I think the bigger thing. Oh well, we'll get a good indication once we know Flash and Aquaman of where that's the next thing, right? Of where they stand in this new slate. And I think until we get a bit
They
closer,
don't.
well, yeah, I don't think they do either. But I, all we need is him to go. Oh yeah, by the way, Lobo's on the slate. Everyone's gonna be like, okay, so we know what's going on there.
I would once again like to throw my hat in the ring though. If you are moving on from Ezra Miller and you need
Here
a
we
new
go.
Flash, let me know. I'll start running right fucking now. I'll get in shape. I'll be Barry Allen. I'll be Wally West. I'll be whoever the fuck you want me to be. I'll be Jay Garrick. Let me be the Flash. Gotta go fast, bitch. Do a Jesse Pinkman interpretation of the Flash. Gotta go fast, bitch.
Yeah,
But
we'll
that is
see.
it from the Nerd News Network. It was a crazy week, especially the last kind of 48 hours. I'm sure there'll be stuff we've already missed that's come out in the last probably 5 seconds because that's the way it is on Thursdays. But we're in too deep now to change recording night to make it easier.
Yeah, no, it's
It
too
would
late.
throw everything off.
It really would.
So we just get to moan every week about how news came out after we finished recording. Superhero Showdown.
Yes.
Raven. Not that so Raven. Raven from the Teen Titans versus a Booster Gold.
Yes,
Standard
indeed.
rules apply. Bloodlusted. Yada yada yada. Advantage goes to Booster Gold. As a time traveler from the future who is clueless other than technology, I'm going to go ahead and say that he's just well versed on Raven's abilities because he's read about her.
Okay. I'm down
I
with that.
don't know of any other advantage you can give him that's even remotely actually advantageous.
Yeah, I'm struggling to think of anything.
And the even bigger issue of that is I'm not sure I can see a world where Booster Gold beats Raven in one-to-one combat, especially when bloodlusted.
Yeah. I mean,
She's a fucking tank, bro.
yeah, she is. And she's so fucking strong.
And like, feel free to correct me in the comments. I'm pretty sure as well, she's even more dangerously powerful when she loses control a little bit, which is why like she's always so like
Straight man.
yeah, because she
Yeah.
needs to like keep everything so in
Possibly.
check. So like I'm pretty sure if like being bloodlusted, she becomes like stupid dangerous.
Well, yeah, it's like her magic's from like demonic heritage, isn't it? If I remember correctly. So it's
Yeah.
like it's basically just letting a fucking demon out when she's bloodlusted,
Yeah.
which is like ain't
And
no.
let's remember, Booster Gold is an idiot. Like a legitimate fucking idiot. The only reason he's moderately intelligent by our standards is because he's from the future where average intelligence is higher because
It's just
they've been able
raised.
to learn more. And he's just stolen technology from the future and brought it back with him. He's got a heart of gold, don't get me wrong, but he's only a hero because he's from the future.
Yeah, and it's like, sure, he's got maybe there's some knowledge in the future where he knows about Raven, but
Yeah. I just don't think he's smart enough to execute any plan he could come up with.
yeah, and I don't think like
Or
he has.
intelligent enough to use the information to come up with an effective plan.
Yeah, and I also don't think he has like any of his equipment is going to be strong enough to do anything.
No. Magic's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think the guy bought a pen to the sword fight.
But my man bought a pen to a fucking spaceship battle.
So yeah, I think it's pretty safe to assume Raven kind of walks all over him here.
Yeah.
A
100%.
bloodlusted Raven is not anything you want to mess with.
Not a thing to be trifled with whatsoever.
No. So
So yeah, that locks her in to the second semi-final because she was the second seed, so she won't be up against Swamp Thing. She will be against either Red Hood
Oh,
Red Hood. No, ignore me. She'll be either up against Hawkman
right.
if he beats Red Hood, or Blue Beetle, or Deadman, depending on who the highest seed remaining is.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that tidies us up for this week. Next week will be Hawkman versus Red Hood, which is actually a lot more of a mainstream fight than it would have been
Yeah.
even 5 years ago,
Yeah, it is
which is
now.
kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Hawkman's appeared in a couple of like Flash shows in the last couple of years. He's now made his big screen debut in Black Adam. Red Hood is getting more popular by the fucking year.
Yeah.
Wild times we do indeed live in.
Is
That's it
indeed.
from us next week. Next week will be our festive Christmas special. We will be wearing Santa hats.
Yes, I need to find
We
mine.
might even have a beverage. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah.
We will find festive things to talk about. We will have a great old time.
We will
So
indeed.
be good, otherwise we'll tell Santa. And we will see you next week.
We will indeed. We'll see you next week.